This is take 2 because Garrett fucked it up. I told her, I don't know why we started. You don't even have the NFC South team up. We're here. We're finally here. We're at the last division, the worst division, but we're here at the last division of football right here, the NFC South. You know, when we were talking about whatever one we were doing, I think we were doing the AFC East. I don't know. West. I don't know. We were doing something. We were talking about the storm. Well, here's the storm. We're in the fucking middle of the storm right now.
The eye of the storm is right here.
If you watch the AFC South video, we have to be positive. And so we're going to be positive about doing the NFC South, which is not a very positive division. There's not a lot. I mean, the good thing is if you are in the NFC South, this division is so bad you might win it. Maybe. If you're lucky. Count your lucky stars. Let's just get into it. I kind of we're going to get this one done because I want to do the recap one. I think the recap one will be actually kind of fun to do because we've been seeing it and we're just like, we don't want to do this one. Anyway, Atlanta. All right, Atlanta. Does Bryce Young win his first start of the year?
I mean, it's Bryce Young versus Desmond Ridder.
Bryce Young.
That's also what I'm thinking.
Bryce Young.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I mean, that means the Falcons don't win their first game until week 5. They lose against the Packers, Lions, Jaguars. I mean, those are all fair games. I feel like Packers, they might win against the Packers. But mini bye, Washington Commanders, no complaints there. I think
Tampa wins this one.
I think Tampa wins this at home. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy either. Yeah. Then they go on the bye to what? Do they win anything? One game.
They have won one game. They're 1-9.
Interesting.
And at this point, I would probably strongly consider firing Arthur Smith.
I mean, you have to.
You have to. And honestly, this would almost be. Now here's the question, and this is going to sound kind of fucked. Let's say you fire Arthur Smith at the bye. So then they have weeks 12 through 18 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left, right? We find that teams play harder for interim coaches. So who's to say Atlanta doesn't go on a little run if they fix the offense under an interim head coach and knock themselves out of contention for a top quarterback?
I mean, who's the head coach?
It would be an assistant. It would probably be a coordinator. I don't know who, but like it doesn't matter who, because like the Raiders, when they fired Gruden and they brought in Rich Bisaccia, or however you say his name, they play hard for him. And he was a special teams coordinator, wasn't he?
I mean, the Raiders weren't a bad. They like John Gruden wasn't bad. I mean, he got fired because
I'm more saying that teams play hard under interim coaches. That's what I'm getting at.
I understand.
Would it be kind of messed up a little bit to keep Arthur Smith the entire year just to tank the season and fire him in the offseason?
I mean, at this point, and Atlanta needs to be looking at quarterback this year anyway. Mm-hmm. They need to look at what's worse for their franchise. So
I think I just struggle with this too because Atlanta has a nice defense. And that should be able to keep them in some games. Because like right now, without doing the rest of the games, we have them at 2-11. And like best case scenario down the stretch, I don't think this is like a 5-12 team.
If they is, they're gonna squeak out some wins here, but because I don't think they went off the bye.
Because both teams are coming off the bye. Probably not.
I think they win week 14.
I think they split against Carolina. I think they win week 1.
You think they get their get back?
No, what I'm saying is I think Atlanta wins week 1, Carolina wins 15, and they split. Are you smelling what I'm stepping in?
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I really do think Bryce Young wins that game, but I'm going off of Falcons are playing, in their stadium. Desmond Ritter does have a few more games under his belt than Bryce Young, even though Bryce Young is, considerably better. I don't know. First games are hard for rookies to win unless.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, right. So here's my thing: the Saints right now are scroll up so I can see their record.
9-3.
9-3, and it looks like at this moment they're making the playoffs. Do they rest their starters, and does Atlanta beat the backups? Is the question.
And see, my thought was New Orleans might be playing for seeding potentially, so they might want to play their guys. Because I was going to suggest them splitting the series, and then Atlanta wins off the bye, and New Orleans wins at home to close the year.
I think if they're going to split, Atlanta week 18. If they don't split, or if they don't win week 18, I think the Saints sweep. So I think it's okay to give, because you got to think, if the Saints are making the playoffs, they're sitting Kamara, they're sitting Carr, sitting Olave, sitting Michael Thomas, they're sitting who else? Like, I don't know. Most of Atlanta should win that one. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young. I think the Panthers win week 2.
On Monday night, I would probably agree with that.
I think Bryce Young loses his first game, gets the jitters out, shows out Monday night, show him why he was the first overall pick. I think it's fine. Should be good.
And then they drop 1, 2, 3 straight, and then we have them picking up a road win in Miami.
I think we had Miami rolling, and this was a trap game. I think.
Yeah, because I think they had like a big team they were playing the next week, like a Buffalo or something.
Yeah, and they were rolling, and I think this actually works out though too. For on the other side, the Panthers lose a couple games.
Damn, look at this though. They win 1, 2, 3. They win 5 in a row. But I mean, they're all winnable games. It's all the AFC South. So it's Houston beatable, Indy beatable, Chicago very beatable on the road, and then off the mini bye, we even have them beating Dallas, who we weren't a high on this year. So like these are winnable games for them for sure.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I really don't.
I don't hate that either.
Saints win at home. Split?
I think they split.
I think that's fair.
Which takes Carolina to 8-9, just on the outskirts of the playoffs, and that's a good season for them.
That's a really good season.
That's a good season for them.
Yeah, and then and like I said, I like the coaching staff they're putting together there. Bryce Young can play. They have some pieces, and that it's 8. Like people don't like being 8-9, and I get it. It's because it's like in the middle, you're not making the playoffs, and you're kind of fucking yourself out of a better draft pick. But it's not a bad. I mean, for a team that was, that traded up to get to number 1, this is not a bad season for them. It's not. So it's okay to be. That we're almost done, Garrett. This is going to be a fast video.
Well, I mean, these are all bad teams, so we're just like, they could beat this team. They could beat that team. Like when we were doing like a really, really competitive division, like when we were doing the AFC East, that video takes a while. Like the AFC North, those videos are going to take a while because we're like, well, this team's really good. And then we're talking about like, well, this matchup versus this matchup. But like, we're gonna be looking at Tampa and Carolina, and we're gonna be like, who wins this game? Who doesn't suck less?
And this is the last 2 games because these are the last games for the Bucks too. Saints and Bucks. I think the Saints sweep.
I don't think that's That means New Orleans is a 12-win team. And
In the
I
NFC
don't
though.
think they're a 12. I don't think they're a 12-win team.
What were the Seahawks?
Because I mean, the Seahawks are 13-4. Detroit's 10-7.
I 11-6 is more reasonable.
So then they split.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Saints beat the Titans.
One thing I'll point out really quick. This record kind of actually does make sense because look, they're playing 14 games against losing teams from a year ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're not playing hard teams.
Their schedule is a cupcake.
Like, and you know, they might not. This might be the Vikings of last year. You know, like not a very high point differential if it is even positive. You know, they might lose they might get blown out by the Jaguars, and you know, but they win these other games by a few points. So the point differential might be barely positive, but I wouldn't be surprised if this team wins a lot just because they're playing the NFC South. Then they're playing the AFC South, who is also not a very good division. So yes, it looks crazy to be like, oh yeah, 11-6, but I think just because of the competition they're playing. So
yeah, because like if you look, every team splits their division series, and they're playing in a division with 2 5-12 teams.
Yeah, and I mean that's more than fair to the Saints. If Saints fans are upset about this, we're like, I don't know how, you know. So I think their ceiling is 12 wins. I think their floor might be like 10.
I can't see a scenario where they win more games than Detroit.
And it's just because I think the Detroit, like, they play a little bit better, a little bit more.
Yeah, no. They play better teams, so like I can understand, like on the record prediction how they finish a game behind. They're the 4 seed, but on paper, when you look at these two teams, especially from like a year ago,
no one's saying the Saints are a better team.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Like no one's saying the Vikings were better than whoever they finished above. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
It's just the way the dice rolls. The way the cookie crumbles. So that puts us done. And man, that was kind of painless. 13 minutes worth of picking games for the NFC South. I'm glad we did this one last because this was, short and quick. We didn't need to go crazy right here. I mean, the NFC South, we have it done. Saints are 11-6. Panthers go 8-9. The Bucks are 5-12. Falcons are 5-12. Both, I think, Garrett. I think when I look at all of these, it just looks reasonable. I mean, or else I guess if it didn't look reasonable, we probably wouldn't have picked it. But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Minnesota does squeak into the playoffs, which is crazy.
Wow, at 8-9.
Which means Carolina could very easily be a playoff team this year.
That means the Commanders could be a playoff team this year.
I was just looking at that we had the Commanders going 1-5 in the division, which I don't think is accurate. And I don't know that I caught on to that when we were doing that divisional preview, but I don't think they go 1-5 when we have the Giants going 3-3, or Dallas even going 3-3, and we have Dallas at 7-10.
I don't know.
That's how the cookie crumbled. I mean, they're still an 8-9 team, even with one win inside the division.
If everything happened the way that we picked it, could you imagine? Could you imagine the odds on that? Like, I feel like we should be billionaires.
If Alex and I correctly pick, so okay, how about this? How about this even? If we pick all the correct seeding, obviously the records, if we pick all 32 teams' records perfectly, don't ever talk to me again. But if we picked every single seeding correctly, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody about no hate. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear it.
Let them know. Let them know.
Yeah, because we have. So how it breaks out in the NFC is we have San Francisco in the 1 at 15-2. Philadelphia takes the 2nd seed at 14-3. New Orleans does take the 3 seed at 11-6. The last division winner is Detroit at 10-7. And then your other teams are Seattle in the 5 seed at 13-4,
Ooh,
which is
that's a good game.
that's crazy that they're 13-4 and they're the 5 seed.
That's a great game.
Oh heck. Then we've got the Giants sneaking in at 9-8, and then Minnesota by the skin of their teeth. They tore down the defense in the offseason, but they still found a way to make the playoffs at 8-9. But with teams like Washington and Carolina breathing down their neck. Oh yeah. Yeah, Minnesota gets dog walked.
Steamrolled.
Like it's not even close.
I think any of those 7 seed teams just get steamrolled. It's nasty. Anyway, we could do more of this on the last video. We're done. That's 8 videos, 8 division videos. So if you're like, well, how the hell did they get to these other divisions? Go watch them. Go watch them. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. As you can see on the banner on the bottom, and I'm doing this perfectly. It says we're on Newsbreak. It's an app right there. Just follow our account. You'll never miss a story out of there too. Twitter. We're on Twitter. Vendetta VSM. Do all that shit. Bad time to be a hater. It's a bad time to be a hater.
Newsbreak because we just crushed over 1 million views on Newsbreak, and I don't think we've been partners with Newsbreak for a month yet.
I think it's been 2 weeks.
It's been under a month, and we're at 1 million views already. The haters are going to be mad. It's a bad time to be a hater.
It's a bad time to be a hater. So you can either be a hater and do hater things, or you could just jump on the bandwagon and be like, yeah, I've been rocking with these guys. And you know what? Even if you haven't and you like change teams, we won't judge you. We won't judge you. We won't judge you. I'll judge you a little bit. That's just who I am. But I'll be happy you're with us.
He's just a hating fellow.
Yeah, I don't know why I lied to you just then. I'm a judge a little bit, but I'm gonna be happy you rocking with us. Rock with us. We're on the V squad. Nah, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I thought that was a rated R version. I'm sorry. It's Vendetta at night.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that's the NFC South. Check out these other videos. See what we picked on the other games here. So you know how we got there, and you're like, well, how the fuck they get there? Go watch them. Like and subscribe. There's other content. Go to vendettasportsmedia.com. Get all that shit too. Look at all of our good content on there. I think we're done here. Garrett, last thoughts on this before we do the recap.
We're going 14 for 14. You heard it here first.
14 for 14. Oh, see, got it. Yes, 14 for 4. I was like, 14. I was like, my math.
What is he saying?
What is he talking about? Anyway, thank you for watching. Get us out of here. Recap coming.